So you're in the market for a brand new M1 equipped Mac and you're excited about the enhanced performance and the battery life and all that good Apple Silicon stuff. But one question remains, and that is, can it run Minecraft? And that's exactly the question we're going to answer here today, whether you should buy the MacBook Air or the Pro for Minecraft, or whether the Pro offers an additional performance boost. We're going to go over that today, but of course, before we continue here, I'd appreciate it if you leave a like on this video. Of course, if you want to, no one's forcing you. Comment if you have any questions, suggestions, or opinions, and of course, click the bell icon if you are already subscribed. It does help the channel out a lot. So we got the cheapest baseline MacBook Air on the left here and the baseline cheapest MacBook Pro on the right. And the only relevant hardware differences I want to highlight here have to do with the number of GPU cores enabled and the thermal dynamics of these machines. First and foremost, the cheapest MacBook Air has a lesser M1 chip. When TSMC manufactures the M1, not all of them turn out perfect and not all of them can enable all 8 GPU cores. Some of them are less than perfect and they can only enable 7. So instead of throwing out these lesser chips, Apple will implement them into a cheaper machine. So that's why you can buy the MacBook Air for $300 cheaper. I got mine for $900, whereas I got this MacBook Pro for nearly $1,200, plus tax, of course. So that's something to think about. Although the performance is similar, it's going to be a bit less in the graphic department with the MacBook Air, as I demonstrated in my previous full comparison within like the Geekbench compute test. But we'll see if this makes a difference within Minecraft. And then secondly, the MacBook Pro is just a more thermally sound machine, as I demonstrated yesterday in my full comparison. The CPU can be kept at a higher frequency for longer, as there is a fan inside that can adequately cool it, whereas with the MacBook Air, just like the previous Intel versions, although this version is so much better because an ARM chip is just more cool as it is naturally, if the chip needs to cool down, the chip will draw less power, which will reduce the frequency, which means that you get lesser performance. But with all this said, we're gonna see if this makes any difference within Minecraft here. And something to keep in mind is that Minecraft, at least the Java version, is not a native ARM app. I mean, Apple has to use Rosetta, so this is really interesting. And I've ran some tests with this app previously, and I gotta tell you, I'm surprised it even runs. I'm so impressed with this virtual app stuff that Apple is doing with Rosetta. It's just so impressive, so much better than that of the experience that I got with, for example, the Surface Pro X, where I was like running like Photoshop and it was just awful. I've been able to run so many different apps on these machines with no problem, including Minecraft, which is kind of probably a challenge for these computers, to be honest. All right, so we got Minecraft open on both of these, and the first thing I'm gonna do is make the video settings the same, because I was messing around with Minecraft earlier on my MacBook Air. So we're gonna go to video settings, and then we're going to keep full screen resolution full. We're gonna keep it at 12 chunks, 120 frames a second. I'm gonna have the graphics on fast starting out. Hopefully, hello? There we go, okay. This is interesting though. If you want to change your graphics to superb or like fantastic or whatever, there's like something new within Minecraft that says your graphics aren't supported, and that definitely has to do with the non-native app support right now. So that's something to keep in mind. It is going to be a little bit glitchy. I've had the app break like once or twice where I couldn't interact with the UI, but for the most part, it seems to be working pretty decently here, and I'll demonstrate that. I'm gonna turn clouds off. I'm gonna make particles minimal. And yeah, I mean, that is about the same from what I can tell. So what we're gonna do now is we're going to render a specific world. I want to use a seed just for the sake of just consistency. So we're gonna go to single player, create new world in 3, 2, 1. And the MacBook Pro was ever slightly a bit faster. But as you can see here, we ended up in the same place at pretty much the same time, and I'm gonna immediately press F3 so we can see what is going on. So 54 frames a second, 52 frames a second, wherever I'm standing with the MacBook Pro, 56, so like it's fluctuating from 55 to 60. So now we're gonna like fly up a little. Oh, I'm under a tree, so that's great. So 43, 55, still 55, 58 on the MacBook Pro. Once again, we'll check out the video settings just to make sure that I'm not lying to everybody about what we're doing here, just for the sake of integrity. I mean, I'm pretty sure that they're the same, but we'll check once again. Smooth lighting minimum, VSync on, GUI scale 4, brightness bright, full screen off, minimap level 4, entity shadows on, minimal particles clouds off. 120 frames a second, 12 chunks. Yeah, that's the same. And as you can see here, we are immediately getting better performance with the MacBook Pro for whatever reason. How about we go over here? 53, 51. Well, it seems to be pretty consistent now, but let's walk through this forest maybe. 54, 60, I'm walking into trees. Yeah, pretty consistent 60 FPS here. So I'll play in the MacBook Air for a minute here. I mean, pretty consistent 60 frames a second. 59, 60, I'll punch a tree here, the most fundamental, you know, Minecraft action. That's pretty decent. How about I dig down? 60 frames a second. And keep in mind, this is running not natively, we're running on a virtual Apple 2.5 gigahertz processor, whatever Minecraft or however Java Minecraft recognizes that. So this is pretty impressive, even at, you know, minimal-ish settings, you know, not like pushing fancy graphics or anything. I personally wouldn't while we're not running it natively, but I mean, yeah, 58 frames a second. How about we go out towards the water, jump into the water, same thing, low 55, 59 here, can go up. And this is way better than obviously my Core i3 MacBook Air that was launched earlier this year, and even my Core i5 one. This is really impressive performance once again, considering the fact that this isn't, once again, a native app. And then we can switch to the MacBook Pro, and of course we're gonna get the same, if not better performance, because this is a more thermally sound computer. Yeah, I mean like 56, 59, you can go by the snow, wherever I went, I think over here, yep. Can break some blocks. 59, yeah, I mean, really impressive stuff here. Now I'm gonna up the settings just a little bit just to see how these computers react. So I'll go to options, and then I will go to video settings, and we'll turn the graphics on to fancy. And then we'll also turn smooth lighting on to maximum as well. And how about we increase the chunk render distance to like 15. And then we will click done on both. And now we will watch how these computers react. So starting out with the MacBook Air, we're still getting 60 FPS. So actually I was underestimating the power of these computers here. Here's water, can fly up this mountain, 58. I mean, dang, I am actually really impressed right now. Maybe it's this map, I don't think so. I mean, like, this is pretty typical Minecraft, and we're getting pretty close to 60 FPS consistently on a MacBook Air, which was unheard of. Okay, so 50 or 45 over here because of lava, but still, I mean, like, this is so much better than the previous gen MacBook Pro or MacBook Air, I mean. And this isn't even running natively, I keep saying that, but this just blows my mind. Now let's switch to the MacBook Pro. Same thing, same performance, 60 FPS, decent smoothness. Of course, it's gonna be a little choppy here and there because of the inconsistent frames, but I mean, like, yeah, this is more than playable. I would totally be engrossed in this as a 12, 13, 14-year-old. That's all I did when I was like that age. I would just play Minecraft and watch YouTube and whatever. Okay, so 43 FPS over here once again, but like, yeah, the performance is pretty similar. I mean, I'm actually surprised. It seems to be more of a CPU intensive task. Maybe the GPU is involved. Next up, I wanna light some TNT just to see how these computers react. And although this isn't like the same number of TNT blocks or anything, we should get a similar sort of result or drop in frames. So we'll stand right here and then 3, 2, 1. And let's watch the frame rate here. It's at 60, 35, 28, 45. So like, I would say similar. Yeah, I mean, these chips are the same. At least within Minecraft, I'm not seeing too much of a difference here. Another thing we can do that's sort of CPU taxing is spawning a bunch of mobs. Yeah, my frames are not dropping and I'm spawning more and more and more creepers. Impressive stuff, people. I mean, you gotta give Apple credit. This isn't even native software. This is not designed for ARM chips. This is an x86 Java application, and it's just chugging along here. And the last thing I want to do is go to the Nether, so we'll do that. And yeah, we got in there basically at the same time. But here we are, 44 FPS, 41 over here. If I fly around on my MacBook Air, we can go out into a more open space. So we are dropping a few frames. Still keeping it pretty close to 60 actually. So that about wraps up this test here, and I guess the major takeaway is if you want to play Minecraft Java, number one, you absolutely can on here, even though these apps are not being run natively, which is just crazy to me because they're running better than they did on the native Intel MacBook Airs. And secondly, the MacBook Air is more than good enough to run this game. I'm not seeing any major advantages with the Pro over the Air, even though the Pro has better thermals and a better GPU core, or an extra core for that matter. So the Air should be more than good enough to play this game. And of course, if you want me to test out more games with these laptops, let me know. It all depends on how this video does and how many people want that video. So if enough people are like, please do an in-depth gaming test, then I probably will. But anyway, yeah. Really crazy stuff. I'm really happy with where Apple's going with this ARM transition. And if it's this good starting out, I can only imagine how much better it's going to be in the future. And that about wraps things up here. I hope this video was helpful. Once again, I'd appreciate it if you leave a like, comment, and of course subscribe for more content like this. I have a lot more Mac-oriented stuff coming up, even some comparisons to the iPad Air 4 and the iPad Pro, so stay tuned for that. And as always, I'm Noah, and I will catch you all in the next one.